Third. Now Stark trying to calm Dylan Lloyd.
Cal Stark just did a pretty cool thing there to his pitcher. You see him take that deep breath. Stark, the veteran catcher, really in the trenches right now with his right-hander, trying to slow him down.
All right, welcome in everybody. It is Monday night. It is a special episode. We have on returning guest, the most outstanding player of the College World Series, Dylan Dreiling. But we couldn't let him come alone. We have too many guys from the Tennessee baseball team that we want to talk to, and no place I'd rather start than the backbone of the team, Cal Stark, the catcher. Cal, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. How are we doing?
Man, doing awesome. I got to start right out the gate. Yesterday, I'm at the Perfect Game baseball tournaments over in Snowden Grove. This kid, I didn't even know until I got out there that these young kids are having walk-up songs. But I've talked to you before. Your walk-up song is one that'll catch your attention. It's one that don't match you at all, but I
Yeah.
love it. And I'm from Texas, and I turn, I cut my head, and like a little 9-year-old strutting to the plate, and I'm like, my thought is, if you're going to have that song, you better do something with it. And I kid you not, I send you the text, man. He laces it a double to the gap. And I was like, all right, then we can work with that.
Checks out. Checks out.
Like that song, man, now that you've used it, now that it's kind of been associated with you, if you hear a young kid, hearing it I don't know, do you think that there's a chance that they're probably a Cal Stark fan?
Well, hey, I mean, if they are, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the first time I heard that song, I was like, man, this would be a fire walk-up song. And then I got some opinions on it, and they were all like, yeah, you got to do that. So no, that'd be pretty cool if that young kid was one of my fans. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, there's not too many songs. We've talked about it on here in the Tennessee lineup that miss. And you hit every genre, like we talked about right out the gate. So, you have SEMO that comes off the top of rap, then you have Blake with country, and then you have Billy with the 80s rock, and then you come back
Yeah.
around with Dylan Dry. The Tennessee lineup, man, it doesn't matter what kind of music you like. It's an open playlist, and I love it, man. But it's weird though. I didn't know. I know when I was doing some coaching back, 7, 8 years ago, they sure didn't do walk up songs. But I guess I don't know, as much money as they pay for these kids nowadays, I guess it only makes sense, right?
I was gonna say I didn't have any walk-up songs when I was 8 and 9 years old, but hey, I mean, if you're gonna do it, might as well go ahead and hit doubles while you're at it, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now supposedly this is where they hold the Little League World Series in the South Division, but they said 82 best travel teams in the area. I was looking at some of the records of these Cal. I don't know how these kids play so many games. Obviously we are just got into July, and some of these teams' record for the 2024 year was like 63-1. I was like, you've played
Oh
64
my
games this year?
goodness.
But I'm not envious as a parent. I don't want to pay that kind of money. I don't want to travel
Man,
that much.
that's a
I got
lot of
enough just
travel, a
traveling
lot
to
of
watch you
money.
guys, but I don't have the stress of my kid playing. I'm just watching y'all.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
that is a ton of traveling.
let's get into it, man. Don't want to keep you too long because obviously, really, we don't want to take the shine from Dylan. But like I said, I gotta catch up with all you guys. Just too much. It still feels like I went to Hunter Inslee's ceremony in Huntington, and it still feels like the national championship was yesterday. So I ask you, man, like, has the feeling wore off, or is it still feel brand new?
No, I don't know when it's gonna kind of sink in and wear off, but you're right. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were one strike away from winning that whole thing, and then it feels like it was just last night or today when we had our parade back in Knoxville. It's still a surreal feeling that I don't know how I don't know when it's gonna set in.
Yeah, I'd want it to last forever, but let's get into some good, some bad, and some more good. And I say bad because our last guest, Aaron Combs, his bulk,
Yeah.
Cal, he kind of passed the buck to you, saying, you did some signals that he wasn't expecting and you confused him. Is this legitimate, or is this, he's not taking responsibility on the biggest stage?
Well, I mean, you you've now talked to Combs. You kind of see, how he is, what his personality's like, and he's just a goofy dude. So, whenever you can see the clip too, he's like, I didn't even know he was there. So, I guess you can say 50-50 blame on that between me and him. But I mean, whenever he got over to third and he was laughing, I was like, I mean, I'm just fine with having this dude in the top of the ninth or whatever it was with our season on the line because I mean he's out there giggling and smiling and we're cracking jokes and stuff and I was like, we got this one in the bag maybe.
I could honestly say I've never seen that before. But as far as this situation, it's funny because going back to 2021, we had Houston Harding on, who pitched game two of the College World Series, and the only run they gave up, he has this thing, he rocks back and forth before he pitches. Well, he stopped and had a long pause, and he was looking at Logan Tanner for a long time, and you see Logan, mouthing or whatever. And so he says Logan was calling the wrong pitch. He gives up a solo bomb. Well, Logan would come on a few more weeks later, say he was adamant telling Houston not to throw a changeup inside, and he threw one anyway, and it got hammered. And so we've had this happen before where two
Yeah.
guys are saying it wasn't necessarily their fault, but hey, they won that game like 8-1. So it ended up being nobody hurt. Y'all won yours. It's a good
Yeah.
laughing moment. I mean, that grin that Aaron has, like you said, like you just don't see that, but you see a guy in that moment smiling like that, like you don't have a fear in the world. Okay, this dude's not worried at all.
100%. That's just what type of guy he was.
But flipping it to where you've been the guy, I sent you a clip today, went back to watching the clip with Andrew Lindsay, and he was talking about, you know, calming down in the moment. And I saw the video of you a couple days ago where it has you in Hoover and then it has you again in Omaha, telling your pitchers just to breathe, literally showing you the commentators, which I couldn't normally hear because I'm at the game, saying, look at the, veteran leadership of Cal as he's calming his pitchers down. So, I mean, how vital do you feel like it is for you? Like I said, I called you the backbone for a reason. Everybody believes that, with the pitching staff being able to, in those big moments, just look at them and say, hey, just breathe, throw your stuff. We got this.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing and I learned a lot um behind all that stuff last year in our 23 season from guys like Andrew Lindsay and Griffin Merritt, kind of the older guys on our team last year. And then, of course, our coaching staff of how important it is just to breathe because, I mean, it's such an easy concept, but, whenever there's, 15,000 like there was at the SEC tournament or 25,000 at College World Series, like, you get going, your heart gets, racing, and sometimes you honestly just forget to kind of slow things down, slow your breathing down, clears your mind a little bit. So, that's just me just trying to help them in any way that I can. And it's kind of weird how important something that small can be to one's success.
Well, if you look at it, I mean, like AJ Causey, after you do that with him, I mean, he throws a beautiful pitch, slides on in, off, it's coming from the right side of the batter's box, perfectly down the plate, cuts in. And I mean, it was a well executed pitch. And all it took was simply you telling him to calm down, breathe. And then he had his thing because prior to that, obviously, do multiple balls in a row. So it's kind of crazy. It's the simplest thing in the world. It's not rocket scientists, but on that big stage, sometimes you just need somebody that to guide you. And for these pitchers, you're that guy. There's a reason you're behind the plate. We had Evan Russell on as he was a catcher, and he was talking about, spending the time learning how to catch all these guys, understand each one, how they tick. Like, he talked about he didn't even get much time for BP because he spent so much time learning all these pitchers.
Yep.
I don't think people realize just how hard a job the catcher has. They see you catch, right? But they don't really understand unless they've played the game. I only understand because I interview all you guys what all comes into it and how much you have to learn and understand every single guy that you catch for and that chemistry you'll have. So it's really cool to see how that did. And I think that's one of the things going into the next level, these, scouts are going to look at and say, this is the kind of guy who not only is just, good at his job in general, but his veteran presence, his ability to have the chemistry with the pitchers is something that, we want. But I got to ask, as regarding the draft, I talked to you. You said you were open to going, anywhere. Like, has there been any kind of talks, or have you had anything that's, kind of happened getting yourself ready? I know you can only say so much, but, have you been reached out to? Is there some like, good information going into draft day?
Yeah, like I kind of told you, there have been some teams that reached out, and there have been talks of people that know baseball, people that don't know baseball, that just say they think I'm going to get a chance just because of my experience and the position that I play, and kind of how I lead the team whenever I'm back there. So I just want to continue playing baseball, whether it's getting drafted or a free agent deal. I mean, I don't really care what it is. I just want to keep throwing that rock around and keep swinging a baseball bat.
Absolutely. Well, the last question I got for you, save the best for last, at least best in my opinion. So I'll even own it to you. I haven't said this to you current to date. I was standing there with Ray Bales, little Ray who does the tailgate,
Mm-hmm.
and you were 0 for 16. And I looked at him and I said, man, I'm starting to question if Cal's going to get a hit in the College World Series. And this is more of a shout out to Ray on the front end and then a shout out to you. But Ray was like, I believe in my guy Cal. And he's the one that does the CAL chant.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like he's gonna break through. He says, as a matter of fact, this next AB, you just wait. And so when you hit that home run, I just looked at him and he had the biggest grin on his face because you're his guy. And so I ask you on the flip side of that, you know, it's got to be in the back of your mind, the struggles. And so when you hit that bomb, man, just is it a feeling of relief on top of the excitement? What's it feel like, man, when you're kind of struggling that way and then you not only break out of the slump, but you just hit a massive bomb?
Yeah, the game is hard. So you're gonna have those ups and downs, and I happen to have a pretty big down spot in the biggest week of our season. But I talked with guys on our team, talked with the coaching staff. I talked to Simo about it a lot. And I think it was right after I made that back pick in game two, and he was like, "Dude, great play, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, man, need to carry that momentum over into my next at bat, and maybe get my first hit." And he was like, "You're over?" And I was like, "Yeah, I sure am." And he's like, "Hey, just keep going." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I felt like I'd put a couple of good at bats together,
Mhm.
and so I knew it at some point I was just going to get one. I was whether it was a single, jam shot infield single, and it just happened to be a home run, and like you said, running around the bases. I mean, uh, it was just pure joy because, like you said, the struggles and all that stuff, and so for for me to just keep pushing through, and like I've been telling myself, it's going to happen, it's going to come. You just got to keep going, and for it to finally happen, it was a moment that I'll never forget for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the back picks. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up. I think, those back picks on top of your leadership is one of those things. Very rarely can a guy have a struggle like you do, and people aren't calling for you to be pulled for the game. I never heard any Tennessee fans being ugly, and which is, not even against Tennessee, any fan base. Guy struggles like that. Usually, fans can get, pretty ruthless, and they
Mm-hmm.
never did because the intangibles you bring to the game. So I think that's cool, man. For every back pick, you do, everybody's like, you know what? That's why Cal's in the game. And I think everybody believed in you. Like so many people were just, they knew you were going to break out of it. It was just a matter of when. And, you did it in the biggest moment of one of the biggest games. And so it was really cool to see. I said I had no more questions, but I do have one more because I saw the clip of you being emotional afterwards, and I saw a lot of Tennessee fans just, that's my catcher, that's my guy. And, obviously we know how Tony V has felt about you and said you're his guy. So I'll have you wrap it up, man, and then we'll go to break for SEMO. But just putting a bow on this thing, just the emotions that you had in the moment, just talk about just what this championship means all in all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting chills, just hearing championship and Coach V's name. But it meant so much to that group of guys, and I know it meant everything to that coaching staff. I saw the video that our media team made, of the coaches hugging after, and that just shows what type of guys they are, and really how much it means to them, we put so much hard work in and day out, and for it to finally turn out to be like that, and we can say we're national champions. It's just truly special. And I know it meant so much to the city of Knoxville, and like you'd mentioned those fans before. They're the best fan base in the country, I think. Of course, I mean, I might be a little biased, but the support that they showed us all year, and then throughout the World Series, and then even whenever we got back, I mean, that parade was unbelievable. I mean, the amount of people that were there, chanting and hollering. I mean, and that was just the day after we won. So, I mean, it meant so much to that team, that coaching staff, and then the entire fan base too.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've done this 4 years in a row. Obviously, 2021 was special. My son's a Mississippi State fan. We started this podcast with Cameron James and Josh Hatcher, but I can honestly say with the relationship that I've built, not just with you guys, but all your families and a lot of the fan base, it was amazing. I put it right there with LSU, my own team, put it with Mississippi State. It was just an absolute blessing to be a part of that, to see you guys do it. See the sheer joy on you guys' face. Obviously, got to see y'all in the hotel afterward, and so what an amazing journey! And I can't wait to see the next step, because I'm watching guys right now. Whether we talk about Trey Lipscomb or Ben Joyce, when you talk about Tennessee guys, or you talk about Paul Skeens or Brooks Lee, we got 6 guests that are now in the show. I got like 4 knocking on the door, and all you guys are fixing to get drafted. And I never thought when we started this show that it was gonna end up like this, to the point we knew we were gonna be talking to college guys, but seeing you guys become pros and be fans of you, not just in college level but the pro level. So that being said, man, with draft coming up, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Whoever gets you, they're getting a dude, and you know that, and everybody else knows that. But with it coming up, wish you nothing but the best of luck. And hey, man, maybe you'll end up a St. Louis Cardinal. That way I can get that jersey, and I can
Hey, that'd be
go
sick.
to Palm Beach and watch you, because that's where you'd start at. But
Yeah.
Cal, enjoy it for everything it is, man, because being a national champion is everything.
Well, thank you for having me back on here. I've enjoyed it.
Absolutely. Well, that's Cal Stark, everybody. We're going to take a break, plug our sponsor. When we're back, we will back with the man himself, Christian Moore. All right, welcome back, everybody. So this is not Christian Moore with me. I don't know where Simo is. Guy hits a cycle in Omaha, thinks he can just ghost me, but that's all right, because I got QB1. I got Drew Beam here with me. How you doing today, Drew?
Doing great, man. Just living life,
Absolutely. He's grinding right now, putting in the time at the gym, got his gallon of water. You love to see it. We got draft coming up. So my man putting in the work, even though the season is over. But I wanted to talk to you about something right out the gate that had nothing to do with Tennessee. I was working the clips, I was putting them out. I messaged you last night. There are I counted 8 different clips where somebody who is not a member of Tennessee, that was at Team USA, that said you were the guy that they became friends with. What is it about? I mean, I know you personally, but like, I don't know, man, you welcome guys in no matter who they play for. You build relationships. Why is that so important to you?
I mean, when we're playing each other, during season, yeah, we hate the school, we hate the team that we're playing, but I guess just when it's on the baseball field, it's cool, but there's no reason to extend it off the field. We're all playing the game we love, all playing baseball, and we all got the opportunity to do it. So, spending that time at USA, I mean, we were there for 2 weeks. We spent every single day together. So I got to build a lot of relationships with some guys, and playing ping pong till 2 a.m., playing, whatever it be, just you're spending a lot of time together. And so it's cool how you get to see and hear stories about different programs, and how they do things, what's different, how they how those guys came up, how they got to the schools they were at. One like that comes to mind is Seaver. Like he wasn't always at Wake. He
Right.
had a road to get there, and so it's just cool to see. Charlie, he was a walk on. He was barely recruited, and then now he's the best chair in the country. It's just cool how you get to hear different things and listen to what they've done and how they've gotten there, and then you just build a relationship through that.
Yeah, and I think it gives them an understanding and an appreciation. I think to one of your teammates, And guys used to talk about him in the previous one, Drew Gilbert. A lot of guys said that he was the nicest guy off the field, whereas on the field, he, lack of a better term, they were calling him a psychopath. And I think that was good though, right? Because they got to understand that Drew's as nice as they come. He's not just the guy that you see with the angry bat flips, right? And so Team USA gives guys that are the best of the best an opportunity to get to know each other, build those relationships. And ultimately, a lot of you guys end up, I'm looking at minor league rosters just the other day. Guys are playing together now who played against each other. So you're able to reconnect on those bonds. But I want to talk to you about, I just went up to Huntington to watch Hunter Inslee's parade, his ceremony. He got the pinnacle of excellence, but they were showing his football clips. And, this was Mr. Football, but yet you're called QB1. I actually asked Hunter in real time because we had him on right after y'all's snow football game. So I'm going to ask you straight up, Drew, if somebody's going to be the quarterback and y'all are having a football game with the baseball players, who's the quarterback, you or Hunter?
I think it's still me. That man will run through a wall though, but I think I still got him. He's definitely a dog though. I mean, he literally ran through a wall in Omaha. But I think he's a hard hitter, hothead. Just will go after anything. I don't know where we put him, but yeah, he'd.
I'd have him on the fullback and let him clear the hole the way he runs.
Exactly. He could fill a different role than I could.
No doubt. So, probably my favorite moment that didn't occur on the field in Omaha involves your sister. And what was cool about it was it wasn't you. So you guys come in with the trophy into the hotel. I'm sitting there recording, and it was cool because the clip meant a lot to her because she had me send it to her, and I seen her put it in her story, everything. But to have the guys come in with the trophy, and the first person they bring the trophy to and hand it to is your sister. And it's one thing if it's you, but it's your teammates, which shows the effect and how she's part of that team. How much as a big brother and, everything that your family has meant to this team for them to come in and, make her a priority to bring the trophy to.
It's been awesome. It's been really cool how they've embraced her and just, grown friendships with her and talked to her. She's always there, after the game when we're in the family section, and she goes up to everybody, always having a smile. So it's really cool how they've, shown that back to her. And I don't know the exact number, but there's a good majority of the team that wears her bracelet, and, has that on while they're playing and walking around everyday life. So it's really cool that they've, over the years, the team my freshman year really, they took a big part in that. Guys like Gilbert, Cortland, Russell, and all kinds of guys like that. They just, they really embraced her. They were, nice to her. They never ignored her and everything. It was really cool. And so it's just continued to be that way. And very thankful for my teammates and my coaching staff and everybody for, allowing her to, be a part of it and, be, in the mix. And just, it was really cool. I think it was Brad, our bullpen catcher, who handed her the trophy, and he's been awesome. It's just, how much he's been there and been a support for a bunch of our pitchers and stuff. He's also been there and been really nice to my family and been really good for me. So it was really cool to see.
Yeah, I've told you, your family's rock solid. Your mom, loves that I say she's my favorite parent of all of them. The way that they do the prayer circles, your dad, always actively talking about the game and someone good to have conversation with, but they're always there supporting, even have rep the in off the bench shirt. So it kind of makes sense that you're the character guy you are when you see your family and how everything plays out. So it's been a beautiful thing to watch it all come full circle. But my last question, and maybe the biggest question, you were part of the 2022 super team, man, that did not make it to Omaha. Just how much, I'm trying to think of the word, but I don't know, vindication that, you came up short then and you were on, that is the best team I've ever seen in the regular season. There's not even really a debate, but able to get back to Omaha and win the championship and bring it home after what had to have been, the saltiest taste in your mouth you could possibly have.
I mean, it definitely lit a fire. I mean, you get a taste of that and you're that close and on such a high caliber team. And then just to fall short was I don't know. It was a bitter taste in your mouth. It sucked. We had literally won everything. Set so many records. Won that SEC that year. We were, number one team. Everything. Everything was in our favor to go on and keep going. And ran into that Notre Dame team, and they knocked us off. And then, we go into last year, And, we struggle at the beginning. We're like, oh, we're 5-10 in SEC play. Are we even going to make it to Hoover? And then we switched things, things turned around for us. We started playing better. And I think all that, just the buildup of the last 2 years, and even years before that, with the way the program had been going, just kind of allowed us to know what a winning culture felt like, know what it felt like to fight from behind, know what it felt like to be a team that has a target on their back because you're the number one team in the country. Just all those kind of fed into this, idea that we're the team everyone's going to come after. We have the target. We have the media attention. Everyone's going to make excuses for this and that, how this team can't do it because they're the number one. No one number one's done it in 25 years. Their pitching's not that great. Blah blah blah. All this random. There was a bunch of stuff that was being said, and we just kind of had heard it all before. We had been a part of it. We had really good, senior leadership. Bunch of guys who have been here and done that, just knew how to, eliminate the noise. And it was really cool to watch how, last year when we were in Omaha, it was a big event for us. It was really cool just being even in the stadium. We felt good that we were just there. Right. And then, it was business. We were loose, we were having fun, but it wasn't never like, this is bigger than us. This is just normal game. It's baseball, and we get a couple more games we get to play together. So let's just keep going and balling out. And it obviously turned out to a national championship, but it was just really cool how, the collective years that have, been behind us and what we've learned from that really fed in and helped us succeed in the long run here.
Yeah. I mean, last year, I don't bring up last year too much because when you look at the Wake Forest team, the side of the bracket y'all are on, the Wake Forest team and how stacked and good they were, with Rhett Lauder, especially at the helm. And then obviously you had to go against LSU and Paul Skeens, and you see what Paul Skeens is doing for the Pirates right now. And it's like, man, like you had two juggernauts, and like you said, y'all were just good to be there because y'all weren't projected to be there. But this year in 2022 were different because 2022, obviously, y'all were expected. And then this year, like you said, but you talked about blocking out the noise, and all the guys have said the same thing to me. No one was walking around worried about being the number one seed. You guys went into Hoover. Winning Hoover has never been an advantageous thing either. Y'all went in there, made it a point to win it. Didn't sidetrack y'all at all. And honestly, even after y'all lost to Texas A&M, I never felt like y'all were going to lose. And part of that had to do with you. Like, I said it arrogantly when I was walking around, but I was like, Drew Beam and Xander Sechrist are on deck. Like, I was literally like, Tennessee's two best pitchers are fixing to come. And I was like, their batting lineup's not going to struggle like they did in game one. Very rarely have you ever seen Tennessee's lineup struggle in back-to-back games. So, like, I wasn't very worried. And being honest with you, you can go to the episode with Jace Laviolette, and, man, he admitted how good, Tennessee was and how nervous they made him. So, the team was just that good. And so to see it completely, like you said, fall in, all you guys that have worked so hard, overcome, like you said, any excuses, any doubts. And like I said, all the families that I got to meet along the way, y'all all just, man, the fan base deserved it. Like, anybody who knocked the Tennessee fan base, I was there for the South Carolina series, and then I was there for regionals, super regionals. Then obviously in Omaha, like, man, I don't have a negative thing to say about your fan base. And I think it deserved it. And so everything just came together beautifully. But, with that all being said, you now got to focus on the next task. We talked about you were hitting the gym. Draft is just coming up this Sunday. Being that you're a family guy, I assume, you're going to be at home with the family. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're just going to chill at home, having some really, some of my really close friends, and some family, just a little chill night, sit on the couch, wait on my call. There
you go. Well, I'll be watching. Wish you nothing but the best of luck. I'll be a fan no matter where you go. But, man, I appreciate you taking your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to follow you with Tennessee. And, man, stay healthy, keep working, and nothing but the best of luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Drew Beam, everybody. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Dylan Dreiling.
Tomorrow, I think it won't be a problem at all.
That ball is lifted deep to right, and it is gone! A huge two-run home run, and that is a big, big shot for a clutch man, Dylan Dreiling.
Welcome back, everybody, to the In Off the Bench podcast. And it's been a great day. It's been a great episode. We had Cal Stark, we had Drew Beam, but we got to get to the mop, the man of the hour, the man himself, Dylan Dreiling. Dylan, my man, how we doing tonight, dude?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, man. Obviously, trying to line you guys up after what's been an incredible, probably, Omaha run, College World Series, ending with a national championship. But, the past weeks after that, I'm sure it's been just event after event and just handshakes, hugs, and just all kinds of just celebrations. So I got to know, has the feeling of being a champion, has it wore off yet?
It hasn't even set in, to be honest with you. It doesn't feel real yet. People like Knoxville, even, I'm in Hayes right now, where my hometown, and people come up like, congratulations on everything. And, thank you, all that. But it doesn't even feel real yet. I think it'll take a few more weeks, maybe a couple months for that to set in. So.
Yeah, you mentioned being home in Hayes. So, tell me about it, man. Hometown, what is it like? Obviously you're a big deal in Hayes now, but this past weekend you had, just quite the weekend. So tell me a little bit about what happened at home and how it's been since you've been back.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Everywhere I go, I get a lot of congratulations. They had me in the parade on Saturday, so that was pretty fun to be in that in front of everybody. And it's just been a good time to relax the past couple weeks. It's a small town. There's not much to do, but I've got to do a lot of golfing with my buddies and just kind of hang out, which hadn't had much time to do that since, the winter, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nice just to be able to hop in the truck and not have like a particular set schedule. You can go visit and you can go hang out with buddies or play some golf and not be constrained to time or having to, cut things short because you got to move on to the next thing. But obviously, we get into music and stuff. I have to say, I went to Omaha, and this is the first time I saw the Vols play live. I mean, I've seen you guys obviously streamed on ESPN and ESPN Plus and SEC Network, but you don't get the full gamut of like walk-up songs. I think Tennessee has the best lineup of walk-up songs. There's just
NC State was a close second, though.
You're right. They were very close. But with you guys, you got a little bit of everything, and anyone who goes to a game can find a song from a player for a walk-up song that they can enjoy. But I gotta ask, man, which of those walk-up songs is your favorite?
My personal favorite, I would say, Billy. You can't not say Billy. Billy's has got to be the best one. It just gets the people going, the crowd going.
Is it the 80s rock, Dylan, that's the key?
I think, yeah, you kind of got to play to your crowd is what I found out over the years with walk-up songs. And I wasn't too focused about that this year, Moneybag Yo, but
Hey,
Bill,
we're from Memphis. You can't go wrong with us with Moneybag Yo, man.
yeah, I enjoyed it, but I'm not sure if the crowd did. But yeah, his was not even a close number one. And then my second personal favorite was KT's. I forget what it was, but I was hitting. He was hitting 4-hole. I was hitting 5-hole. So I remember going on deck and singing it every game before the lineup changed a little bit. But that one was a good one.
Yeah, no, because you go from Blake at 2 with the country, and then Billy with the rock at 3, but 4, 5, 6 with you, Hunter, and KT are all bangers. Like, right, like it's a whole different vibe in the heart of the order.
Yeah, I thought KT's was really good.
Yeah, let's take it a step further though. If you were hopping in your ride and you're just gonna go cruising, which one of the walk-up songs would you listen to in the truck, just chilling? Obviously, it's one thing to be at the ballpark in front of the crowd, getting them going and get a snippet to pump you up, but it's another to be chilling on a drive, just listening to, whatever, floats your boat, man. But of all the songs in the lineup, which one would you see yourself listening to the most, just cruising around?
I mean, I know I'm from Hayes, Kansas, should be country, but I'm listening to mine, honestly, the most out of all of them.
And that's rightfully so. Like,
I'm not from Texas, but I'm listening to Cal Starks. Windows down. Let's go.
Yeah.
it's all good, man. You can't go wrong with any of them, really. You guys should have like your own like playlist on Spotify where people can just pull it up and go bam, like
Daniel,
1 through
who was
9. You got it.
we talked about NC State being good. There was somebody, help me out, man. We watched everything. Somebody's was not good. Was it Florida State?
I feel like Florida State had some like one or two that were just like it was strange, but they got
Hayden Schott had the
like,
one that you hated the most.
Yeah, Hayden Schott was terrible. But to me, like,
just remember, he's an upcoming guest, by the way, Daniel.
I got to put that in my notes to let him know. New walkout song. But yeah, I just think there's a couple that tried too hard to get fan interaction. It just didn't get me going. Might have did something for the fans. I think Kentucky had a bunch that were fan friendly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously a good walk-up song is something that, one, pumps you up, two, gets the crowd going, and three, like, has a little bit of like fan interaction. And then if you want a bonus, you got to get the guy who's on deck, got to get him pumped up too.
Hey,
so
you didn't hear it. Dylan knows who's the worst one. That cat from Southern Miss, Dylan, that played that weird country, like it was like a commercial tune. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't remember many.
I remember standing right next to Natalie Burke, and it played, and she goes, "What a weirdo."
I mean, hey, whatever people like, there's so many songs out there, and with the way that you can get access to songs these days, like, it's just like anything is an option. So like, I'm not gonna knock people, tell you what's not my favorite, but I mean, it is what it is. But obviously, Dylan, a lot of baseball going on. You personally probably have a chance to kind of slow things down, but Major League Baseball, full swing, all-star game, ballots done, picked. Paul Skeens is an all-star. Well, let me ask you this. So what is it like knowing that you faced a guy who's going to be an all-star just a year ago?
Yeah, I mean, that guy, he's different. He's just different. It's kind of crazy to think about that we were facing him. We faced him twice last year, and he was carving us, and now he's carving big leaguers, which I think that's the coolest part.
I mean, you guys faced them in two of the biggest stages that there are. You had them at the box, and then you had them in Omaha.
The one at the box's attendance record too, 15,000.
Yeah.
What is, when you faced him? Obviously, you knew about him, and you knew the rotation prior to the series, and you knew you're going to go up against him. But did all the talk match what he actually was when you put toes in the box?
Yeah, I would say so. My bat in Omaha, I pinch hit off the bench in like the 7th, and he threw me like a backdoor slider to start the AB, and then goes change up second pitch down 0-2. I thought that was pretty cool, just because he had like, I think I was literally his 200th strikeout of the year that at bat. So he had 199 strikeouts, and he was throwing 100, and he threw me 2 off-speed pitches to start the at-bat. So I kind of thought that was, he gave me a little respect right there. But yeah, I mean, he he threw 100 and then knew where he wanted to throw it as well. So that's a pretty good combo.
What does it do? I mean, obviously, I guess this year was the result of what facing a guy like that can do to your confidence. Obviously, regardless of whether you have success or not, you see it and in your mind you go, all right, I can compete with this guy. I know he is this good and he is as advertised, but when I get in the box, I know that I can compete with this guy. And now you take it a step further, and this year translates into a national championship, most outstanding player. But now you see him at the big league level doing the same things. Does the confidence still like continue to grow? And you're like, oh man, like I can compete at that level.
I mean, yeah, I would say so. Just watching him in the big leagues and the at bats that people have off him, it just shows you how much of a generational talent he is almost. And if you can compete against him, then I mean, there's not many better arms in the world that you're gonna see. And so to put up some good at bats against him, it gives you all the confidence in the world.
I'll end with this. And maybe it's just me, but he's a big guy. He's a very big guy. But he's not, by no means is he the tallest pitcher that's ever stepped foot on the rubber. But he looks like the biggest dude that's ever towed the rubber every time I see him on TV. I don't know if it's just the TV and the angle or what it is, but like he just looks like a just dominating force when he steps on the rubber.
I mean, he
Yeah.
really is. You saw the picture of me with him on the field, Daniel. I mean, the height was one thing, but you know my build and his. I mean, he's his broad shoulder. I mean, he's a large man.
Oh yeah. He's big. His forms are huge. And it's just yeah, it felt like he was on top of you when you were in the box, which I think that's another reason. It was just intimidating, kind of.
But outside of skiing, before we get into everything, have you gotten to, Daniel talking about things slowing down? Have you gotten to watch some MLB? I mean, it's one of those things that I know talking to a lot of college guys, they say they don't watch too much MLB, but with it being something that, you're aspiring to do, it's just right around the corner for you. I mean, have you had a chance to kind of watch some?
No, I really don't watch baseball. I don't know why, but I don't enjoy watching it.
Just playing it.
I
No, but the thing is, you're not unusual. 4 out of every 5 guys come on here and say they don't watch, pro baseball, which is just crazy because you're going to be playing it one day. It feels like you would be like watching these guys, but I mean, hey, so far you've done well without watching it, so I guess keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch highlights on my phone and all that, but just I can't sit down and watch a whole game.
I'll tell you this: me and my son went to AAA Redbirds last week, and we got to the start of the 7th. And Dylan, this is coming off Omaha. It's our first baseball game after Omaha. And he looks at me and goes, "If it wasn't for keeping the scorebook, Dad, I'd be bored." And I looked at him, I go, "I am bored." Like, and it's crazy because the guys that are out there are super talented, one step from going to pros. But when you come from a college setting, and it didn't even have to be Omaha, you say LNS or whatever, but like it just, man, it wasn't the college baseball. Like it's so underappreciated. Like the scene, and especially in Omaha, it was so electric. You've been there multiple years now. Daniel talked about it being his first time there. He was so impressed by the fact that it wasn't just Tennessee and A&M fans, right? It was just baseball fans in general, people who love the game out there, just like cheering, having a blast, enjoying it. And I think it's just a different scene. And then I go to like AAA where, man, it's like 150 fans there, and it's like, where am I at?
Well, you're also getting game 72 of 162, and not that it doesn't matter, but like it's just another game. Plus, you're seeing just a game that maybe might be meaningless after watching 4 weeks of do or die baseball.
Right.
So
Well, and
it's a
that's
little
where
different.
that's right where I want to go with you, Dylan. So, I come there for the final weekend of the season against South Carolina, see you guys in Hoover, then come there for regionals, come there for super regionals. Man, it was my first time to go watch baseball in Knoxville. I'd heard it was decent, man. That was a bad report. Like, I don't care that there's only 6,300 people there. It was absolutely electric. I'll put it toe to toe. I've been to the record at Duty Noble, Swayze, and Alex Box. I'll put it with all of them. Absolutely electric. So I ask you, man, down the stretch, your fan base just, I mean, awesome. You just how awesome is it playing in front of that crowd, every weekend?
It's special. I mean, it was that loud and like early in the year when games didn't mean as much, and it's just cool. And honestly, next year is going to be crazy because of the renovations and all that. So it's going to continue to grow as our program continues to grow, and it's going to be an awesome place to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the lineup, man. You bat fourth in the lineup, cleanup hitter, somebody that usually everybody has marked. But when you have Simo, Burke, Billy Amick bat in front of you, and then dude, you got Hunter and KT behind you, just crazy, man. Reflecting back now, you know it. You've seen it since the fall, but man, when you really look back at just how dangerous your lineup is, top to bottom, and the fact that you had those guys bat in front of you and those guys bat behind you, like what's that confidence like, especially in Omaha, man, where it just feels like, like Daniel said, when y'all were down 4 runs to Florida State, he said, it's not enough.
Yeah, it's just it never feels like you're out of a game like that game. And then there's never any pressure. I felt like in that lineup because nobody had to be the guy. Like there wasn't a guy. There's nine of them, and it could be someone completely different every single game, and that was the cool part. So it was just no pressure because if you go 0 for 4, Hunter goes 4 for 5 in the 5 hole, and KT goes 2 for 4 with a double and a homer. So it was really fun to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, no, and you nailed that. There were guys who did do that. And, in Stark's, interview earlier, we talked about him being 0 for 16, and then he had the ultimate slump buster with a massive bomb. But, Stark's defensive ability and why the reason why he's in the game when the front 8 guys are batting the way they are, it gives the luxury that, hey, well, we can trust that Cal's going to break out of this. We're going to let him work through it. Some teams you wouldn't have that luxury, but they did the pictures of y'all boarding the plane. I have not, I'm not humble about it all. I picked you to be the most outstanding player of the College World Series before it all started. I had everybody pick everybody else. I didn't see anybody else pick you, but people asked me why, and that's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's the very thing we're talking about. All I kept hearing was, Simo, Burke, Emick, like KT. And it felt like it was like this guy is batting in the cleanup hole and no one's talking about him. And I watched you in the regionals, be the MVP in the regionals. And I was like, gut feeling just says this guy is going to, make his mark on the biggest stage. And you freaking did. So, like, regionals MVP, most outstanding player, like, it's a team game, right? And winning the championship was the most important thing. But, man, being able to, win those accolades, be that guy, just, how awesome is it when you look back?
It was cool. Yeah, it was a special week, one that I'll never forget in my life. And to be honest, it would have been the same if I didn't have as good a weekend and we still won it. But yeah, it was special.
So let me ask you about this. One thing that was different from last year, this year, punching your ticket to go to Omaha. I was down on the field with y'all before I was escorted out. You were actually the first one to watch me. Still would like to find my son's ball, but that's a story for another day. Seeing y'all punch your ticket there versus doing it in Hattiesburg, just how much different did it feel this year versus last year? One, because it's at home. Two, last year it felt like you were just desperately trying to get in, whereas this year, like, you were proving, hey, we are the best team in the country.
Yeah, last year it felt like it was cool but also I don't feel like, at least for me, I didn't feel like we could win it all. This year, it was kind of like we were going to Southern Miss last year, and we're like, all right, if we win, we win. If not, so what? This year, there was no what if. Like we were winning, and that's kind of what it felt like. We just had all the confidence in the world. And honestly, how could you not after the season we had? With conference champs and tournament SEC tournament champs. So we had so much confidence.
Daniel, when I was talking to Beam earlier, last year they really got handed a death sentence, right? Being with, Stanford being the easiest of them, but that Wake Forest team and then LSU with Skeens like we were talking about, like Daniel, we believed in that Tennessee team just as much as anybody last year, but we were like, man, there's just no way. But this year we looked at it, it didn't matter who it was. We felt completely different. Daniel, when we sat there in Omaha and they won that Florida State game, I'm asking you as opposed to Dylan, was there ever a doubt in your mind that they were going to go all the way?
No. I mean, I was convinced that as the game went on, just defensively, Dylan, you guys weren't sharp in the beginning of the game, which led to really some unearned and uncharacteristic runs that you gave away. And I knew like if you could correct those things, and like I was fully confident that was going to be the case, you could out hit those guys. Like they had one arm that was on the mound, and don't get me wrong, he was pumping and he was good, but you guys started hitting balls on the nose, and then things started dropping. Just like I told Jim, I said 4 runs isn't enough, which is why we talked about bringing Snead in, and you know Jim will get into all that, but that's why we felt like Snead was in there, because you guys still felt like you had a chance to win the game.
I kid you not. Daniel's not a Tennessee fan. He just knows baseball. And I look at him, I was like, bro, they're bringing in Snead, man, down 4 runs. And he goes, because 4 runs isn't enough. And that's just crazy when you think about a batting lineup in Omaha where you can feel confident that, hey, they're going to come back. And it just proved. And it laid the opportunity for, you to do what you always do, walk it off. I'm obviously wearing the shirt, Mr. Clutch. Um, Walking it off in that moment, man. So many moments for you, but that was the one where before everything else that happened in the A&M series, everybody was like, just this guy has ice water in his veins. But for you, man, was it any different than any other day?
No. I thought, well, my mindset in that situation was just that there was no pressure on me. Burke did all the hard work, tying the game up. So all I had to do was go up, and if I get a hit, cool, we win it. If not, we go play defense behind one of the best arms in the country and come in and win it the next inning. So for me, I was just having fun up there.
Yeah, you brought up Burke. He had the uncharacteristic error earlier in the game. When you get, I didn't want to ask him this because I didn't, if in case it did upset him, but when you get that 2 RBI single that ties the game and then you walk it off like that, does it make it to where you don't even talk about the error? It's just, man, you know what? It's not even worth it.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone ever talked about a single error from that game.
Yeah.
There was 3 and then probably like 2 or 3 more mental errors too. So yeah, nobody talked about those.
Yeah, I mean, see, Simo had an error, but he also had a cycle, so who cares, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
that was what was crazy about you had a 4-for-6 game where you had a home run and a triple yourself and a walk off, and you weren't the player of the game. Me and Daniel were talking, but we were laughing about that. We're like, I mean, Daniel was so stoked. He was like, my first time here, dude. Not only am I getting, he had 2 walk offs that day. He ended up seeing 3 in total, right? But he's like, I got 2 walk offs and a cycle. He's like, I never could have imagined this.
Yeah, that day was just crazy with Simo's cycle was crazy. He
I mean,
hit
his home run, me and Daniel were talking about it. It kind of went under the radar. It was what I say, Daniel, in real is looked at, it's like the 5th longest home run in College World Series history, but nobody was really like even paying it much mind.
Yeah, and he hit it 118 too.
I mean,
20 feet
he-
off the ground, bro. And
and that's
just
why he's ghosted me today,
flying.
Daniel. Was supposed to be here earlier. Ain't here. I guess
And that
you hit the
that's
cycle. I guess you can.
and that's why you just take it too and you move on because he does things like that.
No doubt. So one more thing on you specifically, because I know you don't like to talk about yourself, but you did do another thing that's never been done before, man. You hit a home run in all three, College World Series final games. But the interesting part was, you hit them in the same inning every game. Was that even something like after you were done that like you even thought about it? It's just coincidental. Like, I mean, we talk about clutch and giving you that name, and like when the team needed you most, like you just did it. Like, so I mean, I don't know, recapping that, man, was it even the thought process afterward that, hey, man, like, I don't know, the seventh inning is my inning?
No, I didn't even realize that until like 2 or 3 days after we'd already won it. I was like looking through Twitter and I saw that tweet and I was like, dang, that's like kind of crazy. And they were all 2 run. It was just kind of weird.
So I will ask you on a complete side note. I've been thinking if I was going to ask you this or not. Did you happen to see the video of me getting to interview your mom, Cal's mom, and Blake's mom down on the street, and her wearing the fur coat and the mommy hat?
I didn't. I haven't seen any of my mom's interviews. I've heard about them though.
Well, that one was a blast. You had Natalie, promoting herself and her Twitter handle. You had the three of them starting the chants down on the street. But they were. I bring it up because your mom is fun, man. Like diehard Tennessee fan, always like just hyping the crowd up, having fun. And I brought it up because I told Daniel. So what you don't know is uh game two, the day of game two of the College World Series final, I ran out of my anxiety medication. And Daniel will tell you, I'm very, very edgy if I don't have my medicine. And so even with Tennessee winning, I was and then game three, same way. Y'all win it all. I'm stoked, I'm excited, I'm cheering, but then like I was like, I told Ray and the guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the hotel, save us a table and everything. And he's like, you gonna miss the celebration? And I'm like, I feel off. And so your mom, when she came to me with that opportunity, she goes, all I want to do is hug my son's neck, and they won't even let him in. She was like, can you go bring him in and just like bull through people? And with me being in the state I was, I'm like, wait, opportunity to just knock people out of the way. Like, let's go. So I come out there, I say something to you. I tell everybody, you looked at the fans, you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta go. And people like you were like a rock star, dude. People were like reaching out and grabbing you. Like, I
Yeah.
remember you literally were like, what the hell? Like, and so that's
Yeah.
when I just started blocking through, and your mom hugged your neck, and y'all got to take that family picture. And I was like, that was fun. Personal security, opportunity to get it done for mom, maybe knock some people out of the way a little bit harder than I should have. It worked out for everybody. But your mom, it was cool, man. She had been so good the whole trip, and she said, I just want to hug my son's neck. And I was like, I gotta make this happen.
Yeah, that was awesome. I would have been out there for another hour if it wasn't for you. So thank you for that.
Hey, it's hard work being the most outstanding player. I'm telling you, man, Daniel, they were not going to let. Hey, and I'm telling you, hey, fans, if you're listening, no matter how much you love a guy, like keep your hands to yourself. That was a little crazy, a little much for me. But last thing I want to ask you, man, and then I'm gonna let Daniel reflect with any questions he's got left, and then play a game. This is my plea to you on this show. So Daniel will tell you, you're like our 300th baseball guest. No joke. We have a lot of guys in the minors. We have 6 guys now in the MLB. I know that you are planning on going pro, but I want to make my plea to you to say we've had, and Daniel will back this up, we've had about 9 or 10 guys who have bet on themselves and came back for another year. And when they did, it paid dividends. Every one of them got paid. And I say that to say, being a kid is fun, man. Enjoying college is fun. You can come back, try to win another championship, especially in the heart of that order with Hunter and all the guys coming in. And then if you bet on yourself and you do exactly what you did this year, I can promise you with everything I know, you will possibly be a top 15 pick. And so something I just want you to think about with the draft looming on Sunday, the possibility of coming back and doing this all again. All right. So you ain't got to even say nothing back on this show. I just had to do my plea on the public airways for the Tennessee people. And I just want you to think about it. Daniel, you can even double down on that because, Daniel, how many guys have came on here, said, you know what, I'm going to bet on myself. And when they did, it paid off.
I'll say this, Dylan, I am not in the same camp as Jim, and he knows this, but I to his credit, everyone that has done that has been on this show has definitely it's made a difference in a positive way for them. But I am pro, if that makes sense. If you are ready and you feel like you're ready and you have the opportunity, there's no doubt in my mind that you shouldn't take the opportunity. But I mean, obviously,
there's no
preference.
loss in this situation. You either go pro or
No.
you go back to Tennessee and do it all again. So, I mean, he's sitting in the best seat in the world, but I just wanted him to hear it from a neutral party. You know, I'm an LSU fan at the end of the day, and if his Tennessee comes back loaded, that's a bad thing for LSU. But I just think he could thrive. I think if he bets on himself, does it again, I know that I'd pick him in the top 10 next year.
For sure, for sure. Dylan, what is I guess it's off season for you. I don't think there's truly an off season. You know, I'm sure you're preparing for something, but what's it looking like for the off season for you right now?
I mean, I'm lifting like twice a week and then getting swings in almost every day. Last week I kind of took a break. I did nothing except golf. So that was really fun. And then this week I'm kind of back at it with hitting and lifting and running. So
You're not skipping
When you-
leg day, are you?
nah, I don't skip leg day.
All right.
When you take time off, I mean, obviously it's probably few and far between, you know, times where you do get a chance to kind of reset. But when you do come back to it, do you feel like invigorated? Do you feel rejuvenated? Do you feel like more motivation? Or are you like, oh man, like gotta get back into the swing of things and it's tough? Like, what is that like transition into, you know, kind of that reset? Now we're getting back into it.
Well, when you're doing nothing, like last week or even the week before, I was still in Knoxville, so we did something. But it kind of is just boring. And 2-3 days go by and you're kind of just like, I just want to go hit or do something other than just sit here. Or golf isn't that fun for me because I'm not that good at it, but I just want to do something other than golf and sit on my couch. So it gets boring.
I don't blame you. Would you rather do something you're not good at or something that you're the most outstanding at? I definitely would rather do what
But
I'm
I feel
most
like,
Yeah.
man, if he keeps putting in enough time with, his natural gifted athletic abilities with his competitive nature, Daniel, I don't think he would stay bad forever. And hey, if he does go pro, sign that contract, use some of that money to get some top-notch lessons because talking to all these guys in the majors, that is what most of them do in their off time. It's either spending time with family or golfing. Like that is the ultimate like hobby for baseball guys.
Yeah, and I actually golf righty just because
That's the problem. That's the
Yeah, you need to
maybe this whole time you've been swinging the clubs the wrong side.
I tried when I first started lefty, and I just hit every ball like 10 yards in front of me. And so I was like, I'm done with this. I took my dad's club and I hammered one. Of course, a big slice, but at least I hit it good. I was like, all right, from now on, I'm only golfing righty. So
I mean, that's
Interesting.
typical baseball mentality. I'm terrible at this. I need to switch it around. Oh,
yeah.
no, it's golf is hard, man. It's one of those sports where it'll take a long time to get decent at it, but it doesn't take long at all to become terrible at it again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just tough because like I hit the ball hard. It just is never in the right spot. Like I'm always behind a big tree. So that's the part that is annoying.
The problem I have is because I'm a bigger guy, whether you talk about the muscle or fat, and so I'm kind of stiff. And so to get the right range and motion, my swing is just all messed up. And I don't know if there's even somebody who could correct me at this point in my life. I would have had to have started earlier. So I don't think there's any fixing me. So no matter what, Dylan, I'm going to continue to drive the golf cart around and watch. For you, there's hope. You're young, you're athletic. Find a way.
All right. Yeah. We'll see what happens. It's just such a time consuming sport.
Yeah,
Also.
you got to devote a few hours to, or well, for me, I have to go to the range and I have to warm up and I have to make myself believe that I'm ready to actually play, when the reality is I could hit 1,000 balls and I still wouldn't be ready to play. But I do that. Now I'm like, all right, I got my tee time. I'm good. And then it's like 4 hours of 18 holes of golf. And it's like, if I shoot in the 90s, I would be like, oh, I had a great day, you know?
Yeah,
So
I tell you what we can go do together. I'll tell you this, Dylan. On my way back home from Knoxville, me and my son stopped in Nashville because he looked up things to do, and they had the #1 rated putt place in America. And this place is so legit. Forget how fancy each hole was. They had all of them themed. The ball had an electronic sensor in it. You can't cheat. It knows how many you hit, and it has a screen that brings up everything. And then you even have options on the course to hit the different areas where you can get bonus points or you can get deductions. It's the wildest thing I've ever seen, on top of how cool it was in Nashville. And I told my son, I was like, boy, you in for it, because you can't cheat on this one, because, it'll be like, this shot don't count. Nope. You hit that ball, it counts.
got it.
That's cool.
Well, Dylan, let's get to it, man. Let's get to our game. Let's have a little fun before we let you bounce. Ready to play?
Yeah, I'm down. What is it? What's the game though?
Oh, it's easy, man. It's called This or That. It's very simple.
You've played it once before.
You played it once
Yeah.
before, but I'll refresh your memory.
But he's got
I'll
a
give you two
championship
options.
edition, just like Aaron Combs.
Yeah, championship
right.
edition. So these are much more difficult questions, and it's the same rules apply. I give you two options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Got to go with your gut, go with your heart, go with your first instinct. Just pick one, be decisive. All right.
All right.
Jim, this or that. You know what time it is. Who is This or That brought to you by?
Chinook Cedary, 8 flavors, Mile the Wild. Daniel, my cool story and plug, he's got the shirt on. Obviously, everybody saw them in Omaha, but like I said, I went up to Huntington to see Hunter Inslee. He is going to be the newest ambassador for Chinook. He's going to be big time for them. But the part of the story I want to tell is not the picture I took with him holding the seeds and all that. The mob of kids, Daniel, that wanted the seeds. The box was overflowing when I brought it in. It was gone within 3 minutes. Everybody had seeds, and I'll tell you how good they were, Daniel. 2 people found me on Facebook from my post of Hunter and asked where they could order them after them and their kids tried them. So shout out Chinook, best seeds in the game.
Clearly, they didn't get the dill pickle seeds because they wouldn't have been asking.
No, they did not get dill pickle, barbecue, or cinnamon toast. I only came with 5 flavors. I got what they sent me. Some of the other ones on back order, but to no surprise, Daniel, Parmesan pepper stays one of people's favorite.
I'm sure. Sure. All right, Dylan, let's get into it. All right. For the rest of your life, if you could choose one of these over the other, which one would you choose? Cereal with no milk or peanut butter with no jelly?
Peanut butter with no jelly.
I agree. I love peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And to this day, I'll tell you, the Uncrustable sandwich that they make is the most underrated thing ever created. But with that, I can eat scoops of peanut butter just out of the jar and just be
Yeah.
happy, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel you. Like I like the jelly on a sandwich, don't get me wrong, but I could definitely if I didn't have it, I wouldn't be disappointed. For sure.
Yeah.
All right, who hits better bombs? Simo or Blake Burke?
Um,
What you
I
thought this
gotta
was gonna be easy? We're gonna hurt some feelings tonight.
I gotta say Burke. I love watching Burke swing. So when he connects with one, it's so cool to watch.
Let's take it a step further. I actually said when we asked this to Aaron Combs, I formatted this question because that's who everybody focuses on. I don't think it's either of them. I think KT hits the best bombs. Am I wrong?
KT hits some good ones, but I just like Burke's swing so much
Oh, I
that
like Burke's swing too, but it's the way KT's leave the park because he hits line drives. They leave in such a hurry.
yeah, KT hits some good ones.
You know, Dylan wants to say my home runs. What are you talking about?
Yeah, for real. All right, black uniforms or the rest of the kit with no black uniforms?
Black uniforms.
Yeah, for sure. Those are tight. Those are
Yeah.
Daniel, I
tight. I
have a
like
theory,
them.
man. I think like they're not gonna be the alternates anymore because of the way the team feels about them, the way they win. Like it's gonna be your every Saturday. As you know, it used to be Beam and the Creams right on Saturday. I think black's gonna be your Saturday uniform, possibly.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
What refresh my memory. When you guys won the championship, what uniforms were you wearing?
We wore black the last 2 games of the championship.
There you go. So black
Yeah. Yep.
black is
And they didn't
reserved
wear
a
gray.
special space.
They didn't wear the grays the whole
Yeah.
time in Omaha.
Yep.
Yeah.
So out with the old, in with the new. The blacks are the new big thing. Who's more annoying, the Vandy Whistler or the Southern Miss? They throw it in the dirt guy.
The Vandy Whistler.
Yeah, I think just I don't know what it is about. Like Jim will tell you, like he's a decent dude. Like he's a nice guy. Like, but like I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. Like the throw it in the dirt is dumb. Don't get me wrong, but like the whistling is annoying.
Well, the
For
throw it
sure.
in the dirt at Ole Miss is done right. They from the outfield in the general admission, they yell to throw it in the dirt, and then the people behind home plate yell dirt. With Southern Miss, some dude who sounds like a bird, throw it in the dirt, and then they say dirt, and it's so bad. It's obnoxious.
They can't help it. They're not coordinated down there in
They
Hattiesburg.
actually believed that they were going to come into Knoxville and win. That was the even crazier part.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just silliness. Would you rather be stuck in a cave with a bear or in a swamp with an alligator? Probably not going to fare well in either, but the worst of the two evils,
Yeah,
or the best of the two evils.
I'd rather be in the cave, the bear, because in the swamp with the alligator, you're at his home turf. So it's not gonna fare well for you. But at least you can run around in the cave. I'm not much of a swimmer.
Well, I mean, I think that's the equalizer. I mean, if an alligator gets you under the water, it's curtains, dude.
Oh
It
yeah.
is like
Daniel, we should tell him that Aaron Combs thinks that he's going to make friends with the bear and be okay.
yeah. Aaron seems to think that, because he's so popular, like with the human race, that he would be popular with the bear race too. And it just
You know
doesn't
what
work.
happened? Tony V said he was a good hang, and it really went to his head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was feeling himself after he heard that. No, I like Aaron. He's a good dude. Who had the better catch? KT's catch or Hunter's catch?
All right. I have to say Hunter here because I think KT the ball that KT caught, like it was an unreal catch. But I think that Hunter is not camped, but I think Hunter makes that an easier catch. just because KT, from my angle, he looked rather slow running into that ball. Sorry, KT, but
Dude, that is awesome. But hey, I
mean,
like KT's catch diving towards the wall. The other one, that one was legit.
yeah, that catch was crazy.
Meanwhile, Dylan standing over in left field getting no action.
Yeah.
basically, Dylan said KT was daydreaming and picked up the ball late and was slow getting there.
Look, Daniel,
That's what I heard.
Daniel, Dylan should have had his cell phone out like this in left field. He wasn't getting no balls, but center field was getting everything. He just could have recorded everything from up close.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
They said this dude's beating the hell out of us on the offensive end. There's no reason we should let him beat us on the defensive end too. That would just be silly.
That's what I thought. I was releasing the clips, and I think you probably respect him and say the same thing. Dylan. I was releasing the clips on Vance Honeycutt from his episode with us, and then also some of his clips from games. That guy, man, his ability to do it on both sides, and I know your whole team, your whole outfield does the same way. You are the same way. But this is a guy who he got thrown. He told us on his episode he was a shortstop, and he sucked so bad. He said coach kicked him out to the outfield freshman year. Now he's back-to-back defensive player of the year, and he doesn't know what he likes doing more, hitting home runs or robbing home runs. And I tell you what, man, that dude's a gamer on both sides.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Who wins between the two teams, 2022 Tennessee or 2024?
2024. I wasn't a part of 22, and I think their staff was legit, obviously, but I think we had the better lineup, and so I think we can. I mean, our arms on the mound are gonna produce outs, and we just got to out hit them twice, and I think we can do that.
So Combs said if it was a one game, 2022 would win, which he implied that he was saying Dolander was that dude. He said, but if it was a series, 2024 all day.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Dylan, last pick. The number one pick on July 14th. Would you rather be that guy and get a $10 million signing bonus, or would you rather have your national championship?
National championship.
That's just
just lied.
That's just silly.
Nah.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather be the number one pick and get $10 million or win a second national championship?
A second all day.
Look at this guy. Aaron told us the truth. He said he'd give his championship back, hand him the money.
Yeah, definitely. $10 million change your life, man. Not there's not every day where you would make an easier $10 million. But like I tell everybody, where I'm at in this stage of my life, $10 million, it's easy for me to say 10 mil. But with you, like there is something to be said to being in the grind with a group of guys and having this culture and having this goal, and you work really hard and you achieve it. Like that means something, especially what you guys were able to do at Tennessee this past year and win the first one ever. Like you were going to be solidified as, no matter what, a hero. As long as you're a good character person for the rest of your life, Dylan, you will be able to go to Lindsey Nelson anytime you want to for free, and people are going to know who you are and treat you like a king. So, like,
yeah,
it's a pretty good feeling.
The memories with that group, it was just, I mean, you'll never forget those. That's my thing with versus the $10 million. Like the group of guys that we were around every day, to win it with them, it was awesome.
Daniel, I'll tell you something we haven't talked about, and I know Dylan will agree. Shout out to the Tennessee creative team. We've covered the last 4 national championships. No one has put together a video like Tennessee baseball did, showing each player individually on the final out. and seeing the raw emotions of every guy. And that speaks to what Dylan's talking about. I saw every one of these guys and what it meant to each and every one of them. And you just can't replace it.
Yeah.
No, definitely not. When you get that visceral, that real emotion, like in the moment, like you definitely, when you look at this question, you go, yeah, of course, national championship. That's what
If
it's
you
gotta
do,
be.
however, happen to come back, though, we did talk to Aaron about how y'all did not dogpile. Daniel said the ultimate boss move and flex would be when y'all have open practice in Omaha, y'all do dogpile practice as the other
Yeah.
team is coming in.
That would be. I saw your tweet about that. That would be electric.
Well, that would be the ultimate middle
Yeah.
finger to the other
And I mean,
team.
y'all's practice is like it's such a well-oiled machine. Like I imagine y'all would practice the dogpile to perfection.
Yeah.
It's clear that you guys didn't practice the dog pile, because if I have one complaint over the entire season, it's y'all got to do better.
But Aaron had no complaints because he knows he would have been the bottom guy on that pile. So
I tell Aaron, he's just gotta own it. Like
Yeah.
if you're the guy who wants the ball, then you gotta want everything that comes with it, and that's what comes with it.
I mean, he
So,
said he wasn't going to let Cal take him down. He said he held them legs tight and was not going to fall.
oh, but either way, still worked out. You guys wanted a natty, and you're a hero in Knoxville for the rest of your life. But Dylan,
And
man,
Hayes, Kansas, man.
yeah,
Hayes,
absolutely. Back home, Hayes, Kansas. You can't lose. You can't lose no matter where you go. But Dylan, it's been a blast having you on. Whatever the future holds for you, obviously know that we're rooting for you. We hope that everything, you stay safe, you stay successful, you stay healthy. And if there's anything you need for us, man, just hit us up.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Anything you want to plug or promote before you bounce, now's the time. It could even just be saying, hey, Mom, appreciate
Yeah.
you.
My parents. Hey, I know you guys are gonna watch this.
There
I
it
got the
is.
plug for him. Our sponsor, the Athletic Collection. You can go get
Oh,
your
yeah.
Mr. Clutch shirt. You can go get his. It's on the other side, but I have last year's Dylan Cruz. There is a World Series champions Dylan Dreiling poster. Go get your poster. Go get your shirt. Support this guy. My poster will actually be here. You're gonna be on the other side of Beam. I promise you. I'll send you a pic when it happens. But hey guys, it's man, we're Dana. Is there a better value, man? Getting one of these tees, it's $25, man. It's legit.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to go buy you a shirt, and wear it to the gym or whatever, but you can get a shirt and help someone else in the process. So that's what I would suggest. Go to Athletic Collection, get your shirt, get your poster, do what you got to do, because Dylan, you're worth it, man. You're worth the investment. 25
Thank
bones
you.
for a Mr. Clutch shirt. Come on, man. Come on. That's a no-brainer. All right, man. We appreciate you. Wish you nothing but the best, but we are going to take a quick little break. When we come back, Jim, we got the draft to talk about. We got some round one projections that I want to get your take on, because I feel like you got some hot cakes and hot takes on them. So stick around. We'll be back. All right, man.
Good episode, bro.
Yeah. I want to thank our guests, Cal Stark, Drew Beam, Dylan Dreiling, all for
Christian Moore's ghost.
Christian Moore. He was in spirit. But yeah, those guys have been so busy after winning a national championship. They just, everybody is calling on them and asking for their time. I appreciate those guys for carving out a little bit of time for us tonight. Obviously, if you like hearing their story, or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on X, listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. Going over to YouTube, hit subscribe, hit notifications. That way, when we drop new content, and you can be the first to take a look at it, listen to it, give us some hearts, give us some hugs, give us some thumbs up, give us some likes, give us feedback, just whatever it is, we'll take it all. And Jim, we'll see everybody tomorrow. We got an episode tomorrow. I got episode Wednesday. Who we got? What's on deck for us?
Yeah, I'm talking to my boy Castillo from the Colombian national team. He's he's actually going to decide whether he's going to go in the draft or if he's going to play college ball. Obviously, he has different setup, being the way his situation is. So we're going to get his story be something a little different. Not our traditional college kids. And then, man, on Wednesday, Brant Blaylock, we're taking it back, Daniel, a guy who played with Dallas Woolfolk, Keegan James, Austin Riley on that DeSoto Central championship team, a guy who played for Mississippi State and Southern Miss, and now works with Braden Jobert's dad, Jock, for Rawlings. And so a guy who's just really a part of the baseball world, top to bottom, always has been his whole life, is going to give us some insight just about a little bit of everything. And so, man, kind of cool. We're going to kind of travel the world tomorrow, and then Wednesday we're gonna pick Brand's brain, and then from there, I've talked to you about it. Gymnastics, volleyball, baseball, football. We're gonna do what In Off the Bench does best, man. We're gonna be very diverse and get a lot of different stories from around the country.
We're covering it all. We started with champions tonight. We're gonna get a national team baseball player for Columbia national team Tuesday. We're gonna get a guy that played top level baseball, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, with Brant on Wednesday, dude. It's another action packed week. I want to thank you for all that you do, man, being the producer that you are. And as always, this has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.